Mic check 1 2 1 2. So you genuinely cannot make days like this up. Just a very interesting day. A lot to talk about, and I was gonna make a longer form, one of my more edited videos about this, but today just got taken away but with a bunch of dad stuff, and I just didn't have the time to really put together a video. So I'll probably work on something that I'll release during this week, but I just kind of wanted to share with the Y2K crew the madness that occurred today. So if you caught my video from this morning, you would have saw about 3 boxes right here just of a bunch of games. A lot of them more lower end titles, nothing too crazy or expensive. In fact, there were some games that I actually pulled out of that lot because I was going to take them to one of my local retro game shops to basically trade them all in, see what I could get for cash, see what I could get for credit. And if the cash just wasn't adding up, then I was going to trade for some games. So I did make some trades, and I'll talk about that. But before I get into that, I happened to stop by. It's crazy. So after that, after going and doing that, I actually stopped by one of my local Game Stops. I was just going through just to see what they had. And when I walked in, they had like 2 to 3 stacks of games. And the worker that was there was pretty much like, today's your lucky day. We're not taking any of these games. So you can have them all for free. So I was like, wow, the irony. I was just talking about GameStop this morning. And of course, every time I say something about GameStop, something like that happened. So they gave me stacks and stacks of Xbox games, everything from original Xbox to Xbox 360 to Xbox One. So I'm going to take you through all of the free games that I got. If there are any games in this pile that stand out to you, let me know. I'm going to run through these really quickly. I do not collect for the original Xbox, and more than likely all of these are going to go get traded. I'm going to trade all of these in. I'm not keeping any of these because I don't have an Xbox. I could have picked up an Xbox today, but I'm really not interested in starting to collect for the original Xbox. So I'm going to pass on that. I'm going to get rid of all of these. So let's go through them. So a ton of sports, of course. So we have NHL Rivals 2004, EA Sports NHL 2005, NHL 07, NHL 06, NHL 03, and then ESPN NHL 2K5. So we have a bunch of hockey games in there. Then we had a bunch of first-person shooters, Hitman 2. Well, no, these are just like kind of the random games. So you have Hitman 2 Platinum Hits Edition, Midway Arcade Treasures, Midway Arcade Treasures 2, Mech Assault, and all of these are complete in box, by the way. Grand Theft Auto 3, Outlaw Golf 2, and Winter Games 2002. The interesting part about this one is that this is actually a Konami game, so I'm wondering how good or bad this is, but it is in there. So that's this stack. Then we have another stack here. Let's see, we have Project Gotham Racing 2. We have, what is this? Rally Sport 2 Challenge, Forza Motorsport, MotoGP 3, and Toka Race Driver 2. All right, now we have some first-person shooters here. We have GoldenEye, Rogue Agent, Ghost Recon 2, Men of Valor, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, Finest Hour, Rainbow Six 3, Halo Combat Evolved, and SWAT. What's this? SWAT Global Strike Team. So a bunch of first-person shooters there for the original Xbox. Then we had a bunch of sports titles on the 360. I'm not even going to go through those. And mainly sports titles on the Xbox One, minus these 2 copies of Destiny. Looks like you have Destiny, the collection, and then Destiny 2. So both of those for the Xbox One. So some games there. And then a bunch of just like mainly sports titles. I think like one first-person shooter that you see on top, Medal of Honor. So all of these games are available at my local GameStop for free. They did not have to give me these games, but they said that they weren't able to take them in. Of course, I asked if they had any other games that they weren't able to take in. They did not have that, but what they did have was they wound up having a bunch of random PlayStation 2 games. So most of these games I think were like $12. And so I did pick up a few, some for trade, some that will probably stay in the collection. So the one that will mainly stay in the collection is this copy of Tenchu Fatal Shadows on the PlayStation 2. Might have to do a case swap on this one. Thankfully, the cover art isn't damaged, but I will probably have to do a case swap on this one because the case is looking pretty rough. Picked up Shadow of the Colossus for nostalgia's sake. I have this on the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4. Pretty cool adventure game though. If you've never played this game, you definitely got to check it out. Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter, also another one that I picked up. I had this in my collection before, also got rid of this one. And then they also had the Dirge of Cerberus Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation 2. So they had some, they had some decent PlayStation 2 games there, very random. They said that someone brought in a trade. I'm sure that whoever works at the store took all of the really good stuff, because I was told that not only did they get PlayStation 2, but they got a bunch of Dreamcast, and they told me the Dreamcast stuff went in an instant. And I'm almost certain that Dreamcast stuff did not get sold. It was probably taken up by someone in the store. So at that particular GameStop store, I mean, it is what it is. They have looked out for me in the past. I have gotten free games from them in the past. In fact, I did a video this past weekend of all the free games that I've gotten from GameStop, and I thought that was going to be it for the year. But as you can see, they gave me a bunch of stuff that I can't do anything with because I'm not gonna I don't collect for Xbox, but they gave it to me, so it is what it is. Outside of that, I do have a local thrift store where anytime I run into a PS3 controller, I always pick it up. This one is really dirty, so I'm gonna have to clean this one up. But I did a good job cleaning up the last PS3 controller that I got, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up. This was like $6 for a PlayStation 3 controller. The analog stick works pretty good. It feels good. It just needs to be cleaned. It's really the main thing. But the controller, for the most part, feels like it works. The buttons are all very tactile. They have a good press to them, so not too worried about it from that standpoint. It's really more so just cleaning it up, and then I'll go ahead and test this out. So this was $6. I wasn't too mad about that. And then they had this Nintendo Wii charger for about $1.75 at the thrift store. So I went ahead and picked this up. This is actually really useful for sure. People are really going to need these, especially with those Switch lights. I always see so many Switch lights sold loose. So I did go ahead and snag this up. All right, and now we're going to get to the main three games, which were the trades of the day. So as I said, I brought a bunch of games at the GameStop. I'll tell you, for the 3 boxes of games that I had there, those boxes would probably have been valued anywhere between like $350 and $400 for all those games. The game store that I took them to, originally they wanted to offer me $150 cash and like $200 store credit, which I just felt was really low. So I wound up, negotiating with the store, and I told them, I tried to negotiate basically $200 cash, and then what did I say? I said $275 store credit was what I was going for. They settled on $175 cash and $250 store credit. But then when I picked out the games that I was going to get for store credit, the final total amounted to like roughly $285, which they agreed to. So ultimately, I was able to trade in 3 boxes of, low tier games for 3 quality games, 3 quality collection pieces that I'm going to add to my collection. So I'll go ahead and show these to you now. The first one is this copy of Contra Hard Corps, or Hardcore, however you say it, for the Sega Genesis. Picked this one up because the cover art is super clean. I actually had a loose cart of Contra on the Genesis. Wasn't a big fan of my loose cart, and I'd been wanting to complete it for some time. But case and manual for this game is still really expensive. And this game is still really expensive on the Genesis. Even though it's been re-released as part of the Contra collection and all that stuff, and there's multiple ways to play this game between the Genesis minis, the collections, all that. The actual physical copy of this game is still roughly between 130 and 140 bucks. And at this game store, some of the games were priced above price charting. Some of them were below. A good amount of them were right at around price charting. So I didn't want to shoot myself in the foot by wasting credit on games that were overpriced. And they had this one priced at 140, which I felt like, because it was complete and also because of how clean the game and the manual were, I went ahead and said, okay, I'm going to add this one to the collection. So as you can see, the manual is like super crispy in very, very good condition. So I went ahead and snagged that. And then even the cart is in really good condition. Of course, I'm going to use my screwdriver, pop both of these bad boys open. Well, pop the cartridge open rather, and make sure that everything is authentic. But I'm pretty sure the game is authentic. The manual and everything looks good. And I thought that this was a good trade. To trade in a bunch of fluff to get a really nice, a very clean collection piece. The only thing that I want to change about this is I do want to put it in a case that actually has a hang tab, but I'm a little torn because the original case, like not all Sega games come with Konami there, so you can see that this is the actual original case because it says Konami. A lot of times the generic Sega cases will say Sega right there. So for that reason, I may leave it in this case just because it's going to be hard to find another Konami case. I'd have to find like a cheaper Konami game and buy that and then do the case swap. So we'll see what happens there. But for now, I mean, really nothing to complain about. This is actually really good. It's really good condition. The second game that was a part of that trade was this copy of Spider-Man, the animated series. Now, the reason why I picked this one up is because I wanted to add all of the Spider-Man games to my collection over this past summer, which I think I did a pretty good job of collecting close to all of the ones that came out on the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, GameCube, and PS2. Like, I wasn't gonna do doubles, so like if it was a Spider-Man game that came out on both GameCube and PS2, I was only gonna get it on one console. So like the Spider-Man games from like the Spider-Man movie series, the one with Tobey Maguire, I picked up Spider-Man 1 and 2 on the GameCube, but then Spider-Man 3 I picked up on the PS3 limited edition. And then I picked up like Spider-Man versus Kingpin on Sega Genesis. But I had actually picked up a loose cart copy of this. I was trying to find a Sega Genesis version of this game because I wanted to get it in the clamshell. I had considered getting it on the Super Nintendo complete, but I didn't want to pay the price for it at the time. And I think most listings for this complete on the Genesis clamshell at the time was like between 45 and 50. I saw most listings like 48.99. I didn't want to pay that either. So I just got a loose cart copy, but now I can sell that because this box is actually in pretty good condition. Like you can't really see it through this plastic covering here. But the box isn't in horrible condition. It's in pretty decent condition. And I think it still has like the plastic wrap that it came in. When I opened this up and looked at the cart was in like new condition. The manual and all the inserts were in decent condition. So this was complete in box. I would never go for a complete in box Super Nintendo set. Definitely not. But if I can get a complete in box SNES game, I'll pick it up. Like I don't need to complete it, but I will get it. So this was one of the better options that they had there. So I went ahead and grabbed this. So another pretty cool collection piece to add. And then the last one that I picked up here is R-Type Final. This is not an expensive or rare game by any stretch of the imagination, but one, I love shoot 'em ups. Two, I have R-Type Delta on the PS1, and I also have R-Type Final 2 on the Switch. So it was good to kind of get this one back because I had actually sold my copy of R-Type Final. R-Type was one of the first games that I picked up when I started collecting for the PS2 again. So to find a complete in box copy of this was great, to find it in the wild. So this was a great ad. So all in all, I mean, I'm really not mad at the pickups for today. The ones that are going to be staying in the collection being Tenshu, R-Type Final, Contra, and Spider-Man. Not mad at that. The ones that will probably get sold, I'll probably wind up keeping Final Fantasy, this Dirge of Cerberus. I probably will keep this one as well. But the Shadow of the Colossus and the Breath of Fire, these two will probably go into the sell/trade pile. Still not sure yet. Considering it, I did not. Well, actually, these will probably get sold online. I probably won't sell these to the Retro Game Store. I'll probably just sell these two online. But yeah, all in all, it was a pretty good day. Like I can't be mad. This is probably not gonna amount to much in trade credit. All these original Xbox games might get me like between 20 and 45 bucks in trade credit, which that's still good. I'll take that and pick up something that I could really use or something that I can actually sell. Even if I trade all these games, all these free Xbox games in for like a Pokemon Red or a Pokemon Yellow, I may just try and go for Pokemon Blue because I've been wanting to play that. That was actually the Pokemon that I got back in junior high. So we'll have to see. But all in all, just a wild day. In some ways, I'm mad because now I have to go back and do another trade. But it's good because this will give me the opportunity to probably sell off some doubles that I have in the collection and just make some more trades. So it was a wild Monday. I'll put something more official together for you guys, but shout out to the Y2K crew. Hopefully you guys had a productive Monday, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take it easy.